P. Me, your man, Louie T. Welcome to Sunday Night Football Overtime. Browns, Giants. You knew what this was. It was a stick-up. And the Browns were holding up the G-men for the dub. And I wouldn't have it any other way. Give it up, man. Chumps jump up to get beat down. And tonight, the Giants jumped up only to get beat down, which is what we expected them to do with Colt McCoy at quarterback. Browns are that much closer to clinching a playoff berth for the first time in 17 years. And the Giants are that much closer to missing out on the postseason yet again. So, interesting game from a number of different standpoints. Really, most of the intrigue for me came via the Cleveland Browns. Because, first of all, salute. It's wine and dine Sunday. Washington lost. Needed a little bit of a pick-me-up. Enter in my friend, Pelly Red. Baker Mayfield is playing at another level. He's on a new level. He's on a new level. I've been watching him this season. And I said this before the season started. You can go back in the archives. Check for yourself. But you don't need to do that. I'm telling you. When I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And I'll tell you I'm wrong when I'm right. You know I'm going to tell you I'm right. And I told you before the season started, Kevin Stefanski is the perfect hire. I told you last year that Freddie Kitchens was in over his head. I didn't like their offseason. That those two weren't going to be a great match. And that problems would ensue. Remember all the hoopla surrounding this Browns team coming into last season? I told you that was going to fail. It did. They got it right this time, and I told you before the season started. Now, I didn't expect this Browns team to be this good. I won't sit here and take credit for that. That I won't do. However, I told you that I thought the Browns were going to be much improved, and Baker Mayfield was going to look a lot better in this offense. And I've been talking about Nick Chubb and just how good he is and how dynamic he is as a back and doesn't really get the credit that he deserves. And I said, I like a lot of these pieces. Not really sure how I feel about Odell Beckham. You know, coming into the season, yeah. I've already told you, this offense is much better without him. And not from a talent standpoint. Obviously, that would be foolish to make that statement. I'm talking about from a cohesion and a morale and a gelling standpoint. They're a much more cohesive unit when Baker doesn't have to answer to anybody, when Baker doesn't have to appease anybody, doesn't have to make sure a guy gets his requisite targets or he'll blow up on the sideline. Whether Rashard Higgins gets 7 targets or no targets, it won't be a problem. Same can be said for Donovan Peoples-Jones. Same could be said for any of the 3 tight ends. If the ball comes your way, cool. If it doesn't, guess what? Doesn't matter as long as we're winning. Jarvis Landry has always been selfless. He's a little bit of a loose cannon, okay? But he's a team guy. He's not a me first guy. He's not, I need to get mine. He just wants to win. He'll block. He'll do the dirty work. He'll throw passes if he needs to. Whatever you ask him to do, he'll do it. They're better off, and I know it sounds crazy, but Mike Tirico brought it up. Mike Tirico, I told you, is the best in the business. I'm so glad to hear him on these Sunday night games. And he brought up the question that I think a lot of people are afraid to ask. And I've been talking about this. Is this team better off without Odell Beckham? And, you know, Chris Collinsworth did his little tap dance around. I don't know. You know, this guy, shut up. Okay? Shut up. The answer to that question is yes. And I'm sorry. I know a lot of you don't care because you don't like Chris Collinsworth. I actually do like Chris Collinsworth. I don't love him, but he's not terrible. Most of you think he's terrible. He just pissed me off at the end of the telecast when he was asked about the NFC. First of all, you know I'm sensitive about my shit. I'm sensitive about my division. Yeah, I know we trash, but we've made a little resurgence here of late. Don't disrespect us. And, you know, he did it in a smug way. You ain't watched us all year. Don't talk about my damn division, and you ain't watched shit this year. Oh, well, Dallas won 2 in a row. I don't know. Bitch, Dallas stinks. Don't about our division if you ain't. Just answer the question and say, you know what? I really don't know. I don't know who's the best team in that division. I can't even tell you. It's gonna be wild. That's how you answer that. Don't talk to me about, well, I don't know. Dallas is 1-2 in a row. Dallas stinks. If that's the best you can come up with, just keep your damn mouth shut. That has nothing to do with this game, though. I'm sorry. You know how I do. I go on tangents. Sorry. Forgive me. Back to the topic at hand. This Browns football team. Odell Beckham Jr., to me, I don't necessarily want to call him a cancer. I just think he's a disruptor to team chemistry, to team morale. When things aren't going his way, when the team isn't winning, he's a problem. Maybe it's not as bad as it seems, but that's the narrative that is easy to paint when you see things get better when he's subtracted from the equation. Anyway, the guy's a super talent, but this offense seems to be a little bit better, and I just love the way Baker's operating right now. You know, it's not fancy. You know who would be he would be the perfect quarterback for? John Gruden would love Baker Mayfield. He's operating in a similar offense right now. And, you know, Baker, he doesn't miss often. You know, he gets back there, you give him time, and he surveys the field, and he makes a quick decision, and it's an accurate ball, and it's a rifle shot. And it's there, and his guy is catching it and getting a first down. And it's 5 here, it's 6 here, it's 7, then it's 14, then it's 4, then it's 3, then it's 21, then it's 4, and they're just, boop, 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 it's just spraying it around. Again, nothing fancy. First read, second read, third read's over, boop, 14 yards. First read's there, 4 yards. Move the sticks, you know? Hand it off to Chubb, he gets 6. Hand it off to Chubb, he gets 1, it's 3rd and 3. 5-yard completion to the tight end right there. Stop route, boop, first down, move the sticks. It's not fancy, but it is effective and efficient. That's what you saw tonight. An effective and efficient offense operating at not maximum efficiency, but damn near close to it. He was 27 of 32 tonight. Was that 5 incompletions on the night for Mayfield? Surgical. Against a quality Giants defense. Now, they were down their best corner. That makes a massive difference. You take James Bradbury out of the mix, they're not the same defense. That being said, I thought Baker Mayfield was outstanding tonight. I thought this offensive line that had some issues with some injuries, had some injuries early in the game, including Hubbard. I thought they battled against a quality defensive line in New York. They don't have a elite nor a legit pass rusher for that matter. But they still can get after you. And they kept things awfully quiet. That's the one thing the Giants are missing on defense. We'll talk about that in a second. But I thought the defense was solid. Honestly, I don't know what the hell Joe Judge was doing tonight. We'll talk about that when we get to the Giants side of things. But Kevin Stefanski has been a calming influence on this football team. You remember this team was like a hothead unit last year with Freddie Kitchens leading the way as a dummy. Stop name calling. Blame it on alcohol. Sorry. As a head coach that just didn't know how to conduct himself, was lost on the sidelines, and his players, look, in this league, players follow their head coach. If their head coach is on the sidelines like a stark raving lunatic, they're going to act the same way on the field. If the coach is lost and doesn't know if he's coming or going, the players are going to be the same way on the field. And you saw it last year with this Browns team. Stefanski has been the consummate professional. He's kept this team focused. They go out, they execute. They don't beat themselves. I mean, I think we got to literally the end of the first half until we heard Sean Hochuli's voice for the first time. Both teams were relatively clean from a penalty standpoint. Didn't even know who was officiating the game. So, you don't beat yourself. Now, they had that one drive that was ugly, but they still got in. First and goal from the 3, turned into first and goal from I think it was first and goal from the 6, turned into first and goal from the 21, then turned into second and goal from the 3, which then turned into second and goal from the 8, then turned into third and goal from the 1, and they got it in. So, Um, this offense is just, they're playing at a very high level right now, and they're going to be a tough out. They're going to make the postseason first and foremost. They're going to be a tough out when they get there, though. That's the thing that's going to be fun to watch. Is they're not only just going to get there, they are capable of beating somebody. You know, they're really capable of doing some damage when they get there. The AFC is just so tough. So tough. This 11-win team, more likely than not, I think they're going to finish 11-5. This 11-win team is more likely than not going to have to go to, Indianapolis or Tennessee, and they could lose in the first round, But they just as easily could win that football game that I'm talking about against Indianapolis or Tennessee. They've already gone to Tennessee and spanked those boys once, so it's not like they can't get it done. But and they've already beaten Indianapolis as well, but that was at home. So it's going to be fun. This AFC thing is going to be fun. Really good performance from the Browns. Good to see Denzel Ward back out there. They got some injuries from this game that are going to be, something to monitor. I'm not so worried about Hubbard. I know he was their utility guy on the offensive line, played multiple positions. But I'm worried about Sheldon Richardson because he's been stout for them inside. And those guys are hard to come by in this league. So that's going to be interesting to see if he's okay and what's the severity of his injury. You get to the Giants side of things. I thought Joe Judge was horrible tonight, and I haven't said that at all this season. I've actually been a huge advocate for Joe Judge. You know, if you've been listening to me this year, I thought that Joe Judge was a great hire. Listening to him talk, I said, this guy gets it. He understands. And it was a tough situation he was put in with, the Giants roster and, some of the things that were going on. Young team, nothing was expected of them. They win 4 straight. They start to really look like a team that is coming on strong. They're 5-7. They go on the road and they beat the Seattle Seahawks with Colt McCoy at quarterback. And people are starting to mention his name for Coach of the Year. And I was all for it. Like, hey, I don't think he should win it, but he should get some votes. He should get some, there should be a conversation with his name in it. They lose last week against Arizona. Daniel Jones was not good. He was compromised. You could see it. This week, a bunch of challenges were laid essentially at his doorstep. Your offensive coordinator has COVID. You got another assistant coach with COVID. Your cornerback goes out, gets some work done to his back, and the person that he got the work done from has COVID, so he came in close contact with them. So by virtue of that, he's out. Don't know if he has COVID or not. Doesn't matter. He's out. So you come into this game, and oh, by the way, Daniel Jones, who was compromised last week, not playing this week. Sustained another injury in the loss last week to Arizona. So you come in, you're down your starting quarterback, you're down your best corner, you're down your offensive coordinator, you're down another assistant coach. It's rough. And your linebackers coach, Brett Bielema, gets a job to go back to college. Remember, he was once the coach at Wisconsin. He gets an opportunity to go back to the collegiate ranks as the head coach of Illinois. So he takes that job. So now he's getting out of Dodge. Well, damn. It's a rough week. But he's, Joe Judge, no nonsense, no excuses. They show up. Hey, we got a game at 8:20. They're going to show up. We're going to show up. All of the officials are going to show up, and we're going to kick this thing off. So let's try to find a way to win. They get the opening kickoff. Great return from Dion Lewis. Gives them tremendous field position. They get inside the 10-yard line. Down to the 8. Don't get in. Okay, fine. You're on the board, though. Field goal. Okay. That's a great start. Would have preferred the touchdown, but points are points. Take the points. Your defense is good. Let's see what this leads to. This ignoramus decides he wants, and this is some Doug Peterson type bullshit. This genius decides he wants to go fake field goal. And what you have to understand is special teams coaches are extra. They like to try some off the wall special team shit because that's their background. Every now and again, you'll catch John Harbaugh straight tripping on some special team shit. It's not out of the realm of possibility that you'll catch them throwing a fake punt, their punter throw the football. Sam Cook used to throw it all the goddamn time. They usually don't get too tricky on field goals because Justin Tucker is so good. There's no reason to get tricky there. But every now and again, you'll catch him tripping, because that's what he does. And that's part of the problem of a special teams coach becoming a head coach because they don't have any filter. They don't understand, hey, this is not the time for this shit. Not the time. I was watching the Cowboys this season, and, they've got a very aggressive special teams coach in John Foster. You got to be able to tell guys like him, no, John, we're not doing a fake punt right now. And they did like 2 of them in one game against Atlanta, and they both failed. And it was so funny. Like, dude, you guys are serious right now? They did one against Washington on Thanksgiving. Now, I went back and I watched, and it was a terrible decision because of the way the game was going. But they saw something on film, and I saw what they saw. The guy was wide open. Somebody, Cedric Wilson, the wide receiver, didn't get the call correct. He tries to run it. He's supposed to be throwing it, and there's a guy wide open. He didn't see it. He didn't throw it. That's not our problem. They fail. Game gets out of hand. You got to know when to tell these special teams coordinators, no. You have final veto power. They got to come and ask you before they do something. They can't go rogue. And Joe Judge doesn't have to answer to anybody. He's a head coach. So if he feels like getting frisky on specials, he's going to do it. Earlier in the season, he tries a fake field goal against the Cowboys. I thought it was well executed. Guy's supposed to be running off the field. He stands right by the sidelines. He runs down the field. They throw him the football. It's a touchdown. And they call the Giants for illegal formation. They claim that the tackle wasn't set for a second. I've already, ranted about that. That was bullshit, but that's nor here nor there. What I'm trying to convey to you is that special teams coordinators always have a trick up their sleeve, and they're dying to show it off. This was not the time for you to do that. Not the time. Take the damn 3 points. What are you doing, man? Seriously? You're going to flex everybody out? And you're going to have your punter throw the football to one of your offensive linemen? What was it? I don't know. Who the hell was that? In triple coverage, no less? That's the best you can do? You did all of that to throw in the triple coverage to a guy with a 60-something number. Really? You should be thrown in jail for that, Judge. You should be held in contempt for that bullshit. But you know what? He said, man, that was so nice. I'm going to just do something twice. Just because I feel like it. They get down to the 3. The next time. And he decides, already kicked a field goal. Those are overrated. I don't need the points. Let's go for the touchdown. Well, it's 4th down. It's 4th and 2. It's not 4th and 1. Not 4th and 1. 4th and 2. Okay? Would be nice if you just kick the field goal here. Not the time to try to go for it. He said, hey, don't have my offensive coordinator. What the hell? Got Colt McCoy. Might not get down here a bunch of times. Let's go for it. Okay. Stopped. Should have been 9-3 Giants. 9-7, excuse me. Should have been 9-7 at that time. Giants. He kicks that field goal. They take the lead by 2. Instead, it was 7-3. Browns score another touchdown. It's 14-3 at the half. Browns score another touchdown. I think they actually missed the extra point on the second touchdown because they had the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on Jarvis Landry. So it was 13-3. And then they score another touchdown after half and make it 20-3. Thought this was a poorly called game by Joe Judge. Poor decision making on his part. Your offense is offensively challenged. It doesn't mean, well, we may not get down here, so I better try to get 7. No, it means you need to take the damn points. Your defense usually gives you a chance. Can you imagine how different this game is if you kick the field goals? and your defense is looking up at the scoreboard and it's 13-9 instead of, 13-3. It's a different feeling. Even down 20-9, had that been the case, you still feel like I got a fighting chance if I could just get down there and get a field goal. It's a one-score game. But by not taking those opportunities to score, you put yourself in a big-time hole. And after they got to 20-3, game was done. You're down 3 scores. You're not scoring 2 touchdowns and a field goal. And a 2-point conversion. Not with Colt McCoy. Thought this was a rough night for Joe Judge, and they deserved to lose this game. The Browns were the far superior team. They were no matter what he decided to do, they're probably going to lose anyway. But he didn't give his team a chance, I didn't think, with the decision making tonight, and it hurt his team. And so, 20-3, dominant performance by the Browns on the road. They get it done, and now they're 10-4. The Giants are 5-9, and if the Giants lose next week at Baltimore, who desperately needs to win, and Washington, coupled with a Washington win, the division is over. Washington wins the division, it's a wrap. So everything that Washington wants is right in front of them. Giants loss, coupled with a Washington win, we clinch the NFC East. There you have it. That simple. Dallas, no matter what they do, can't win more games than we do. They got to win more than us. They can't win 8. They can only win 7. If we win 7 next week, they finish up at 7-9. We finish up at 7-9. If we lose in week 17, guess what? We own the tiebreaker. We swept them. Which is why it's imperative that the Giants lose next week, because if we don't win next week, or if we win and they win, they can still finish with the same record as us at 7-9 if they won the following week versus Dallas. And we say we beat the Eagles in week 17, but they beat the Giants or the Cowboys. They would finish at 7-9 just like us, and they own the tiebreaker. So if they lose and we win, it's a wrap. Eagles can't get to 7 wins with the loss today. They can only get to 6. So they need everybody to essentially lose out, and they can still win the division. So, like I've said, it's really simple. Win. Take care of business. It's over. Giants don't take care of business. We do. It's over. Game time. Browns are in a really good spot because, look, they're not going to get any help. This isn't the Rams tomorrow, the letdown that we saw from the Rams today with the Jets. The Steelers are going to win tomorrow. So they've got to hope that, and I don't really know, like, I'm trying to think who did the Browns' 4 losses come against? What's the divisional record? The Steelers swept the Ravens. They're gonna sweep Cincinnati with the win, and then so they'd be 5-1. And the Browns, they lost to Baltimore twice, so there's no way they can win the division off of a tie. They'd have to finish with a better record. So they need the Steelers to lose out to get to 12-4, and the Steelers would have to finish up 11-5. That's not going to happen because the Steelers aren't losing tomorrow. So they can't get the division. They needed to beat Baltimore to have that happen, but you can get that 5 seed. You can get that 5 seed. It's right there for the taking. You own the tiebreaker over the loser of the AFC South, because both of those teams, just like you, sit at 10-4, both the Titans and the Colts. However, you've beaten both of those teams. So whomever doesn't win that division, if you continue on the pace that you're on, and those two have to play each other, so whomever doesn't win that division, no, they already played each other twice. I take that back. Whomever doesn't win that division, if let's just say they finish 11-5, you finish 11-5, you would get the 5 seed. You would get the nod over them. So it's intriguing. The AFC is just so much more fascinating than the NFC from a standpoint of just, all these good teams. The Dolphins are fighting their asses off trying to get in. The Ravens are fighting. It's going to be fun to watch the AFC. kind of battle it out to figure out who is who and what's what. Got some super chats, so I want to go ahead and take those. The Cubone. Thank you for the super chat. The Cubone. Greatly appreciate you. My man Cubone writes, damn, I may need to bust out the Ovaltine again. Hashtag LouieTLive. Hashtag losing to the Jets. Yeah. I was so disappointed in you guys. So disappointed. And you know what? It was the proverbial, my man Silver V came on this program, not this program, on the podcast a week ago, and he defined what a trap game was. He defined the quintessential trap game situation to a T. And he said, you don't see it? And he was referring to the Saints falling into the trap of an Eagles team that was wounded, starting a rookie quarterback, hadn't won any games in a while, and they were struggling. And the Chiefs were on the horizon. They were the next week. And so it's easy to come into that game, overlook that team. You don't expect them to put up that much of a fight. And especially after seeing what happened to the Jets, losing in the fashion that they did last week, firing their defensive coordinator, they were ripe for the taking. Excuse me. And so it was easy to go in there thinking, all right, we're home. They got to get on a plane and come all the way out west. They had a chance to win last week, lost in epic fashion. They're 0-13. They stink. Their coach is going to get fired here in 3 weeks. They got nothing to play for. Hell, they probably even want to lose at this point, organizationally, to get Trevor Lawrence. And we got the Seahawks next week. All the ingredients for a epic trap game fail were right there in front of you. The trap was set. And they just sprinkled down a little bit of cheese and walked you, and you fell right into it, hook, line, and sinker. You ate all the cheese and walked right into the trap. Snap! Got your ass, Mr. Rams, man. Right into the damn trap. Fell for the old banana in the tailpipe. That's unfortunate, because you really had a chance to win that division. Now you don't. I mean, you still obviously could. You could sweep the Seahawks. You already beat them once. But that's a really hurtful loss. It really is. You may need to bust out the Ovaltine. You're still going to the playoffs, though. Still a good football team. Just had a bad week. And you know what that speaks to? I sat here last night and talked about the NFC. Talked about the Packers and how that was a disappointing performance against the Panthers, because here's a Panthers team that had lost like 8 straight or whatever it was, and you had them 21-3 and you couldn't put them away. You let them inch back into the game and make it competitive and let them cut it to a 1-score game. And I sat here and I ranted about who can't be beaten on any given Sunday in the NFC. And the one team I kept clinging to, the Rams, at least they play defense. Well, that went out the window today. Everybody in the NFC is primed and poised to be picked off by anybody. I just want in, man. If there's ever a year, I wish I had some consistent play at quarterback. If there was ever a year where I'm like, yo, let me in. God damn it, let me in. Because you got a shot. This is the year. Boy, what I wouldn't do to have Kirk Cousins at quarterback this year. With the defense we got, hell, we can win a damn Super Bowl in the NFC. Shit's wide open. Thank you for the super chat, Q-Ball. CGM87, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. CGM87 writes, big win next week marches us into January. Biggest gripe of Gruden is team played like total crap in big games. Carolina Giants in 16. Ron ended Club J. I hope we find a way to right the ship next week. This is a big game next week. You don't want to put yourself in a position where week 17 matters. I don't want that pressure on this team. Now, if it is, it is. We got a chance to end it. The Ravens are going to beat these Giants next week. Whether Daniel Jones plays or not, it doesn't matter. The Giants are going to lose to the Ravens next week. We're going to have an opportunity to wrap this thing up. I don't want the Eagles-Cowboys game to have any bearing on the divisional race. I don't want to talk about percent chances or any of that stuff. I want the division over with on Sunday afternoon, 4:17 p.m. From 2-7 to 7-8 and division champs. That's what I want to see after the game on Sunday next week against the Carolina Panthers. That'd be one hell of a late Christmas gift. One that I can't wait to open. Brendan McCloskey, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My man Brendan writes, damn, Lou, I wish we could get one more look at those boys this year. Still in first, though. You ain't never lie. You know, like, I hate the fact that they swept us. I really do. You know, I really hate the fact that they swept us. They are not better than us. They really aren't. Still in first, though, like you said. Can't cry over spilt milk. I've already let that go. I just want the division, man. I want it so bad I can taste it. Tastes delicious, too. Got a super chat here from Cruisin26. Thank you for the super chat, Cruisin26. Greatly appreciate you. Writes, beating Seahawks caused us to go from 4th to 10th. Yeah, strength of schedule. You know, you beat that kind of team, they're like, hey, you don't need that top 5 pick anymore. You beat the Seahawks. And you're going to win one more, too. I think you got enough ammo in the gun to beat Dallas week 17. I think you got enough bullets in the gun to do that. So you might end up outside the top 10 when it's all said and done. We'll see. Chauncey Davis. Thank you for the super chat, Chauncey Davis. Greatly appreciate you, my man. Chauncey writes, Lou, saw a little of Corey Davis today. If we were to get him, he would be a number 1 or 2 receiver for us. Whether he's 1 or 2 doesn't really matter to me. I've already said Terry's our number 1. I'm steadfast on that. So he would be our number 2 essentially, but 1A, 1B, or 1 or 2, it doesn't matter. Corey Davis would be the perfect complement to Terry McLaurin and exactly what we need opposite of him. And like I said, it doesn't have to be Corey Davis. I ran down the list of free agents for the 2021 receiver free agency class. Man, it is loaded. It is loaded. There are going to be plenty of opportunities to grab a guy. So I don't think you're going to have to overpay because the market is going to be so oversaturated. I think you're going to be able to get you a guy like Corey Davis is going to cost you a pretty penny. That's top of the market stuff. If he were to come available, I still think the Titans are going to be like, there is no way Corey Davis walks out of here without a deal. And if we can't get one done before free agency hits, we're going to slap the franchise tag on him. He will not be on the market. We got to keep this guy. I think they realized they made a mistake by not picking up his 5th-year option, and I think they're going to try to keep him. And I think he wants to stay in Tennessee. We will see. If they don't pay him, I know we'll be one of the first in line. Like, hey, Corey, what's good, bruh? We'd love to have you in Washington. So, he's legit. Definitely legit. Got a super chat here from Got Any Grapes. Thank you for the super chat, Got Any Grapes. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, Lou, arguably the best team in the NFC lost to the absolute worst team in the league. There is no team Washington can't beat in the NFC playoffs. I've stated this already. Not a single team. Now, there are some teams that pose matchup problems for us, but I don't care about any of that stuff. Honestly speaking, I look at from 1 to 7, I look from top to bottom of the NFC right now as it stands. not one team in the conference, and I stated this already many times, and I think a lot of you are starting to see it now with this loss by the Rams to the Jets. Not one team in the NFC can't be touched. You can reach out and touch any team in this conference. You can touch Green Bay. You can touch New Orleans. You can touch the Rams. You can touch Seattle. You can touch whomever, Tampa Bay, Arizona. All of these teams can be reached out and touched. Now, I'm not saying we would beat them. And it's hard to win, 4 games in a row. But if you're sitting here telling me that we can't get in the playoffs and win 2 games against, in the first round, Seattle or Tampa Bay or the Rams, you telling me we can't beat them? And in the next week, that we can't go on the road and, beat XYZ, Green Bay or New Orleans? You telling me I can't beat one of those teams? Because I'm going to look you right dead in your face and tell you, that's a bold-faced lie. That's a damn lie. So, I'm not saying, and I don't expect us to be, in the playoffs and smoking teams or, if we get there, more likely than not, we're one and done. But I'm just telling you, in past years, the assumption was, and this is the thing I got a kick out of, was fans, I don't want to go to the playoffs. All we're going to do is go there and get slaughtered. All we're going to do is go and lose. I don't give a shit. I want to go. I want to go. That didn't age well for most of you. All we're going to do is go there and lose. And that might happen. But I tell you what, we got a much better shot this year than we have in any other year if you were to make it as a 8-8 ball club or a 7-9 ball club. I look around at the landscape in the NFC and I'm like, there is not a single team that scares me at all. Not a single one. Got another one here from CGM87. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, CGM87. Greatly appreciate you. CGM87 writes, never gonna fault Ron, but after he rang the bell for his treatment, I felt he got a lot better and his team rallied around him. Your thoughts? Well, you got to remember, he wasn't really as attentive for various reasons, for obvious reasons. He had a lot going on. There were days where he wasn't even able to attend practice nor be in the facility. So it was tough, but once he was able to have his last chemotherapy treatment, he was able to be on the field and more hands-on at practice on a daily, consistent basis. And the players got to see him go through that entire process. And Ron never complained. Try to be there as much as possible. Those guys, it became a rallying cry of sorts. Like, hey, we can't complain about anything. If this guy's going through cancer and chemotherapy and he's still busting his ass to try to get to work, to be here for us, how can we not want to run through a wall for this guy? How can we not want to go out and press through an injury? How can we not want to go out and find a way to get it done? Yeah, I do think there was a little bit of that with this group. And I do think Ron has been a lot better since he's gotten some of that stuff behind him. No doubt about it. He talked about all of the different side effects of him being tired and having a little bit of a bout with vertigo and all of the thick spit that he would have in his mouth when he would have those pressers and he would be spitting all the time. Like, there was he talked about having to take naps during the day, and like, he wasn't himself. So obviously it was different. And once he got all of that out of the way and he was able to focus and do the things that he's accustomed to doing and getting back into the regimen that he's used to, and there's still probably some side effects. He's not done with everything. But the heavy lifting, the heavy duty portion of his treatment is done. And you can tell that there has been a renewed focus on the part of Ron, and I think this team has responded to that. For sure. Thank you for that super chat, CGM87. Got another super chat here. I got a comment here, from Niners fan, who writes, Lou, this season really stinks. because a healthy Niners team would be the class of the NFC West this year. Everyone else is highly fraudulent. Yeah, it's got to be frustrating. I watched you guys turn it over 4 times and give up 40 to the stinking-ass Cowboys today. And if you were healthy, you'd be good in a conference that is dying for someone to stand up and be an alpha. So, but it is what it is. These things happen. It's the NFL. HHC Lunar says, with the Jets win today, the Giants have taken over as the new worst team of New York. No, the Jets still stink. And now they're being ridiculed. It's amazing. You got 2 different sectors with this Jets thing. You got the people like myself that are happy that they won. I'm not one of those people that's a conspiracy theorist anyway. I told you, these guys don't give a shit about, like, you got to think, it's the organization that would prefer them to lose. But these players, I told you, it's impossible. Unlike other sports, primarily basketball, where you can tank, and try to improve your draft pick status. Excuse me. And the crazy part about the NBA is you can tank and still not get the number 1 pick. You could have the worst record by 12 games in the league. You could win 5 games, and the next closest team could win 19. And you still could end up with the number 3 pick in the draft because it's a lottery. You're not guaranteed anything. In the NFL, because and it's much easier to do it in the NBA because you can start resting guys. All right, you know what? This guy's got an ankle. He's done for the season. And now you got a 3rd string point guard playing heavy minutes. You're going to get mopped in the NBA. You got your 13th and 14th guy off the bench playing heavy minutes for you. When you're trying to lose, that's what you do. And nobody will question you. If this guy's got an ankle and if this guy's got a shoulder, or a sore foot, what are you going to do? Rest him till next year. That's what you do. You can't do that in the NFL. Every single guy is playing for his future. Whether it's with this team or somebody else, he can't afford to put bad tape on. You sit this guy down, the next guy you're going to bring in is going to be just as hungry, if not hungrier. So there's no such thing as, well, I'm going to take this guy out and put the next guy in because that next guy is like, well, shit, this is my only opportunity. I got to take advantage. I'm undrafted out of Delaware State. I may not get another chance. I got to show the rest of the league I can play. So that guy's coming in and he's playing his balls off. So there's no benefit to just benching guys. Obviously there's a drop off if your starting tackle is out and you bring in a backup tackle. But that backup tackle isn't going to come in and just stink it up. He's going to fight his ass off to try to make sure that at worst he's getting a call from somebody else next year to come try out. At least get an invitation to camp. These guys have pride. And that's what I kept telling you. They don't want to lose. I thought the Jets were going to go 0-16. I'm not going to sit here and act like I thought they were going to win this game. Their chance to win, I thought, came last week. And they blew it. So they're going 0-16 now. I was shocked. Remember, I was the dummy that changed my survivor pick from Ravens, who won 40 to 13, to the Jets in Rams game. Can I change it back to the Ravens game, please? No, I can't do that. I'm like, there's no way the Jets will win it. Rams are going to devour them. Boy, was I wrong. Yikes. I got a couple more super chats. Got one here. This one is from Chauncey Davis. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, Chauncey Davis. Greatly appreciate you. My man Chauncey writes, all caps, Lou, have we ever won the coin toss? Because of how we play in the second half, teams are apprehensive to want to play us. Yes, we've won coin tosses this year. 3 to be exact. 3 coin tosses we've won. We only win them when we're on the road. Okay? We don't win at home. I don't think we've won a coin toss at home yet this season. And that's okay. It's okay. Because we don't get to call heads or tails at home. The opposing team does. The visitor does. And if they call it right, what are you going to do? The new trend in the league is if you win the toss, you defer to the second half. This goes back to my Madden playing days. You wanted to win the toss because, and I told you, the reason I played the coin toss game in Madden and wanted to win it was so that I could defer to the second half. I've never met a Madden player that won the coin toss and said, I want the ball first. I want to send a message. I want to send a statement on my first drive. Nobody does that. You always want the ball after halftime. Why? This was my rationale, and I've said this a million times. You probably heard me say this, so I probably don't need to say it again, but I'll say it anyway. My rationale, to hell with Bill Belichick's theory of double dipping. That's cool if you can get it done. But I don't care about that. That's not the reason I want to defer to the second half. The reason I want to defer, and then there's another thought, school of thought out there, another theory that if you defer, if you put your defense on the field, people are still coming into the stadium and people are still at the concession stand. And after halftime, there's this whole thought process that, people are out using the bathroom and they're getting their stuff from the concession. So you don't have to deal with crowd noise in the second half after halftime. So that's the best. That's garbage. For me, it's as simple as at the beginning of the game, it's 0-0. I know the score. I know the situation. I know what I'm up against. It's 0-0. Clean slate. Let's play football. All right. I don't know the score after halftime, though. What is the score at half? It could be 14-3. It could be 21-7. It could be anything. I could be up. I could be down. There's never an instance after halftime where having the ball isn't a good idea. There isn't one situation I can think of where having the football after half doesn't benefit you. Even if you, just like the Browns tonight, for instance, they won the toss, they deferred. The Giants got the opening kickoff, ran it past midfield, decided to do that crazy fake field goal, and decided to throw it. They didn't get any points out of it. The Browns ended up leading at the half 13-3. And what did they do? They got the opening kickoff for the second half. They were up 10. They didn't need the ball, but it's great to have it. They punted. They went 3 and out and punted. Who cares? They still had the ball, right? Had an opportunity to score and go up 20-3. And if they were down 13-3, guess what? Just like in that game against the Steelers, and this is what I always talk about. You don't know what the score is going to be, but if you're down, it really benefits you. We were down and we were getting trampled in that Steelers game. 14-3. Scored right before half. And this is that Bill Belichick double dip theory coming into play. Scored right before the half, gave us some momentum. We got the ball to start the second half. We scored a touchdown on that drive. And it was 14-10 without the Steelers even seeing the ball again. You don't know what the score is going to be at halftime, but you do know what it is at the beginning of the game. That's always my theory. So, this game here broke the streak of 2 straight games where we won the toss. And I might add, it was damn fun winning the toss. Felt good to win the toss, be on defense first. But that's over with. Dr. Dustin B. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Dr. Dustin B. writes, fans need to remember, we were 2-7. Just lost Allen and were written off. Ron reined them in and turned this thing around. Seahawks going to see us real soon. After the Rams loss, I'm not too sure about that today. I felt good about that in the moment because I'm thinking to myself, Seahawks are probably going to lose that division. Rams have the inside track. Not exactly. Now, again, all of that could change with the Rams win next week in Seattle versus these same Seahawks. They could go in, win that game, get the season sweep, and then be in the driver's seat to win the division. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, the Rams have the 49ers. No, they don't. They already played them twice. So they'll be playing the Cardinals in Week 17. Well, the Rams. So it's tough because the Seahawks get the layup in Week 17 with the 49ers. They get the layup. You got to struggle with Arizona, who's fighting for their own proverbial playoff lives. So I don't think we'll be seeing the Seahawks again, man. I think it'll end up being the Rams that get that. And it may not be the Rams. It might be Tampa Bay now because both of those teams sit at 9-5 right now. And if the Rams don't win next week, they'll be 9-6. Tampa, more likely than not, is going to end up winning out. I think they're going to win out and end up at 11-5. and you're going to end up at 10, and the Rams would end up at 10-6. So you'd get Tampa Bay instead. I don't have a problem seeing Brady, man. Honestly, I know where the hell Brady resides. Now, he's got some weapons. I'm not looking forward to that, but you tell me I get to go after Tom Brady and know where he is in the pocket. I feel really good about that because I know where Brady resides. I know where his address is and where to find him. So we'll see. I want the Seahawks. I said it earlier. I didn't stutter. I meant what I said. I want the Seahawks again, but if we don't get them, if we get the Rams or we get the Bucks, I don't care who it. I just want in, man. At this point, if we had the Chiefs in Wild Card Weekend, I'd be like, all right, let's do it. I just want in, man. I just want the fellas to taste playoff football. I just want to be able to say we're the NFC East champions. I want to say we playing January football. I want to be in the postseason. So, and I want to prove some people wrong. Chris Collinsworth disrespected us tonight. It's a lot of that going around still. Because people don't care. They're not watching. They don't know what's going on. They just see the record and, this division stinks. They watched 3 NFC East games this year. You watched the Giants tonight. They watched the Cowboys when they were at their lowest point with Ben DiNucci at quarterback against the Eagles, who were struggling with Carson Wentz. And then they watched the Eagles against the 49ers. So every time they've watched this division, they've gotten a snapshot of what's going on. And they're like, oh, man, that division stinks. You have no idea what's going on in this division. And I just, people like him, I just want to slap them with a dub in the playoffs and say, take that, man, across your damn dry-ass face. Bow. Just leave a W print right on his face. Bow. Whoa, I didn't see that one coming. I bet you didn't. So, that's what I want more than anything. Got a super chat here from my man JP. Thank you for the super chat. JP, greatly appreciate you. My man John Perez writes, Washington can clinch next week with a win and a Giants loss. I'm going to be nervous as hell all week long, honestly. Yep, talked about that already. I'm going to be nervous as hell during that game. Not the entire week leading up. Just once 1 o'clock hits and I know what's at stake, it'll be just like that Giants game in 2016 all over again, where I'm at the edge of my seat and I'm just hoping we go out and execute and do the things that winners do. And this Panthers team going to want to play spoiler. Look, most of that roster isn't the roster that was there with Ron, so there's not going to be any ill will there. But Ron's going to want this one. He still looks at that team and sees red. Like, okay, this was disrespect. He'd love nothing more than to clinch against those boys in the week 16. I'd love nothing more to clinch on those boys. But we're going to have to play better because Carolina is dangerous. They're dangerous. We watched them go toe-to-toe with the number 1 seed in the NFC on Saturday night. So we watched them go toe-to-toe with the number 1 seed in the AFC as well. And I think they're going to get Christian McCaffrey back, which pisses me off. Like, why can't we get Christian McCaffrey to be out? Why does he have to come back against us? It's not going to be easy at all. As a matter of fact, I'm not looking forward to it. I am not. If Christian McCaffrey doesn't play, I feel a lot better. A lot better. He's going to play, though. Terry Maples. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Terry Maples writes, Stafford, Galladay, Jonnu Smith to the Skins. MOBB. Got to trade for Stafford. Kenny Galladay is going to cost you a fortune. If you trade for Stafford, you got to inherit his contract as well. And Jonnu Smith would be affordable. I would love to snatch up Jonnu Smith. He's a proven pass catcher, and he also blocks a little bit. Another one of those guys from the Titans that I think is really talented and has really become a good pro in this league. He'd be the perfect complement to Logan Thomas because he can stretch the field vertically. Jonnu Smith is a good enough athlete to do that. So I wouldn't mind Jonnu Smith. I don't know what the price tag would be on Jonnu Smith, but I'm all in for that. If they are in on it, I'm in on it. Now, Galladay is going to cost you a bunch of money, and he's been injury prone, did not play a lot of games this year, but he's a big-time target, So, it'll be interesting to see watch. Like I said, a lot of free agent guys. Kenny Galladay, Juju Smith-Schuster, Chris Godwin, Corey Davis. I mean, the list goes on and on and on with all these free agent guys that are going to be available. Allen Robinson. I mean, it's good. I mean, free agency this year is going to be bananas at the receiver position, and I think we're going to get somebody. I know we're interested, and Ron he hasn't mixed any words. He pretty much said, "Hey, we'd love that." He didn't say it, but he said it without saying it. We wouldn't mind adding a veteran wide receiver. So I think it's going to happen. We'll see. Decipher SPC2G. Thank you for the super chat. Decipher SPC2G. Right. Sup, Lou? Do you happen to know what draft picks we have coming this draft and what positions should we spend our first couple of picks on? So here's the thing. Don't know where those draft picks are going to be. Obviously, we won't know until our season is over and all in the draft order is set. But if you're asking me rounds of picks, we have all our picks. The only one we traded away was our 5th round pick. We traded that for Kyle Allen. We got it back from Seattle in the Quentin Dunbar trade. So we've got our full complement of picks. We got a first, we got a second, we got 2/3 from the Trent trade with the 49ers. So we got 2 3s. And we got a 4, we got a 5, we got a 6, and a 7, if I'm not mistaken. So I think we have 8 picks total. You just don't know where those picks are going to be, where they're going to land in the draft. But don't know if we'll get a compensatory pick or not this year, because obviously it's an equation that they got to punch in. I think this would be the year we would get picks from Jamison Crowder leaving in free agency and all those guys that left that year that Jamison left. If I'm not mistaken, I think this is the year we would actually get to see the dividends from that, if we're going to get anything. We may not get anything from Jamison leaving. And, it's really the amount of free agents that left and the money that they got minus the amount of free agents you bring in and the amount of money they got. So we'll see what happens with compensatory picks. But as of now, I think we sit with 8 picks in the draft. It could be 9 or 10 with compensatory picks. But for the sake of discussion, for the sake of this discussion, it's 8. That's where we sit right now, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that. It's nothing to give away a 6th round pick for a guy or something like that. So I could be wrong, and we don't have a 6th or a 7th or something like that. But I think we got all our full complement of picks. And I know we got 2 3s because of the trade with the 49ers for Trent. And you said, what should we spend our first couple of picks on? I mean, honestly, it just depends on, what players fall into your lap. Best value is what you're looking to go, get after. You don't want to reach for positional needs. You want to get the best player available on your board, and hope that it meets a need. But if it doesn't, you just got a really good football player. You just take that and you run with it. They could spend it at a number of different positions. They could go after, safety help. They could go after linebacker. I think that's the one that if I was a betting man, I'd say that if we don't get anybody in free agency worth noting, I think that's the position that they'd be looking to solidify first is linebacker. Offensive tackle is something that is intriguing, but again, they usually come off the board really quickly. So the likelihood of you grabbing one of those in the 20s if you win the division, I don't know if you'll have one there that you love. This past year, there were plenty of tackles, and guys got selected in the 20s. The Dolphins got one in the mid to late teens, and then, Josh Jones, I think, ended up going in the 2nd round to the Cardinals, and I think there were a couple of tackles that were still available. Ezra Cleveland was a guy that, ended up kicking inside the guard for the Vikings, but there might be a tackle that you like on the board that could suit this team in the first couple of rounds, first few rounds. Same could be said for tight end, wide receiver, corner, safety. linebacker. You know, I mean, there's so many. And the elephant in the room, quarterback. We don't know what they're going to do at quarterback. I still want them to draft a quarterback. Nothing has changed. You know, Dwayne played well today. You know, outside of the turnovers. I shouldn't say he played well. He played better than expected. That's probably the best way to describe his performance today. You know, hard to ignore the first 2.5 quarters of the game. But they moved the football. Turnovers were problematic in the first half. And some missed opportunities at the end of the day. So I think quarterback is definitely at the top of that list if I were Washington. Thank you for the super chat. Decipher. Got another super chat here from Dr. Dustin B. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, Dr. Dustin B. Who writes, Collinsworthless / Vilma / everyone else can eat dubs. Yeah, Collinsworth, and I told you, I don't dislike Collinsworth. You know, he's background noise, but he's tolerable background noise. Like, I don't have a problem with him. You know, as long as Mike Tirico or Al Michaels is next to him, I'm good. I can tolerate him. I don't have a problem with Chris Collinsworth, but he did piss me off tonight. That's for damn sure. Vilma, I told you, he's trying. But you can tell when guys, you know, are aware. Like, Vilma wears a lot of hats. He does college football. He does the NFL. It's hard for him to focus on what's actually going on around the league. And sometimes when you're doing too much, you don't do enough. And right now, I just think Vilma's got his hand in too many cookie jars because he has no clue what's going on. You know, some of the stuff he says out of his mouth, you're like, you haven't watched us one bit this year, have you? Really? Because you wouldn't have made that last statement that you just made. Like, you know, I remember the Giants game he did, and Evan Ingram had a drop at the end of the game, and he's like, matter of fact, it was the Giants-Washington game. That was the only other game he's done this year that was of Washington, and he said, well, that's a rare sight. You know, Evan Ingram with that drop, he doesn't drop the football very often. I'm like, Giants fans are like, excuse me? You said what? And I'm like, did this man just say Evan Ingram doesn't drop the football? That's a rare occurrence? Oh, that's a miss. So you can tell when guys don't know, man. And he just doesn't know. He knows football. He just doesn't know enough about the teams that he's talking about. That can be problematic, especially when we eat, sleep, and breathe our teams. So we know everything about our teams. And when you're off slightly, we catch it. But I'm willing to let that kind of stuff slide because you don't follow the everyday granular details of these teams. You're covering a different game every week, so it's hard. I understand it, but you can't be that far off. And he was, and he has been at times, but he's not terrible. He just needs some more work. But they can all eat these dubs. I'm with you on that. I'm definitely with you on that. Chauncey Davis, thank you for tripling up. Greatly appreciate you, Chauncey. My man C.D. writes, Chauncey says, Lou, I am with you, and an appearance in the postseason for the team would be great. That's what I want. I want an appearance in the postseason and an opportunity for the youngins to feel what this feels like. I want them to get a taste of the postseason so that they understand that what we're trying to build here is something bigger than 7-9, 8-8. And I want the rest of the league to eat crow because they think we're going to get in and get our heads bashed in our only playoff appearance. One and done. I'd love to prove some people wrong. Keith Smith, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Keith Smith writes, Desmond Ridder to be our next quarterback, sign A-Rob at wide receiver. You seem to be very fixated on Desmond Ridder. We'll see. The draft, free agency, all of it should be very intriguing. Very, especially with this team, because we really have no clue. We thought we knew about Alex. We were wrong. We thought we knew about Dwayne. We could be wrong there too. We have no idea. None. So we'll see what happens. I think A-Rob is a guy that wouldn't necessarily be on their radar out of the gate. I think we already looked at his age. I think he's 29. I think he either is 28 now, will be 29 before the season starts next year. Yeah, I think that's what we determined, which is not terrible. But I think they're looking more along the lines of 25, 26, years old, not 28, 29. So, but I could be wrong. We'll see. Got one here from Keith Smith. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Greatly appreciate you, Keith Smith, who writes, there's a female announcer for NCAA. She's annoying as F. You're talking about Beth Mowens. I actually love her. Her voice is a little annoying. I tell you this much. It's not annoying to me. I've heard people complain about her voice. It's an acquired taste. I'll say that. If you're not used to her voice, it could be like nails on a chalkboard. Or for me, a metal fork or spoon in a glass bowl or plate. That just hurt my ears just now. But the more you listen to her, first of all, she knows what the hell she's talking about. That's the thing I love about her. But her voice isn't the best to the senses. It's not the best to the ears. But she knows what she's talking about. But I know exactly who you're talking about. Oh, man. Decipher SPC2G, thank you for doubling up. Double up. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for doubling it up. Decipher SPC2G. All right. Got some comments. Let's get to the top. We've already hit our hour mark, so I'm going to try to run through some of these comments. Paint the Lombardi Trophy burgundy and gold. I am not drunk. Everyone, Louie T is drunk tonight, y'all. I am not drunk, okay? Do not spread that slander, okay? At all. I am not drunk. I promise. Gregory Lightbody says, next Sunday we got to wear all white. This week it was worth it more than any other week. I'm with it. Oh, you talking about the home game? I don't know, man. All white at the crib. It might be the times to pull them out again. I think we're winless in the burgundy on burgundy. I think I need somebody to fact check that. I think every time we've won the Bergs on Bergs, we've lost. They look clean though, but we've lost. I think that's a fact. See. Reese says, those burgundy jerseys are bad luck, Lou. I just said the same thing. Now, I won't say they're bad luck, but Bergs on Bergs, I don't think we've won a game in them yet. Reese said, I used to want the ball first in Madden. Ree, that sounds like the strategy of losers. Were you good at Madden, Ree? I need answers on that. Were you actually good? Because I don't know of many people that wanted the football first in Madden. You always want to defer. Let's see. Ree says, wishing you and yours a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, Lou. Same to you, Ree. Hope it is a very joyous time for you and your family. Stay safe out there. It's not a normal Christmas with COVID and everything that's going on, but I hope that you find peace and solace in knowing that it's still a great time of the year and you're still able to spend it with your family. So I appreciate you. Cody Larson See, Lou, I get the concern with my team, and I know we have a lot of bad, but we aren't the only one seed that struggled with the Panthers. Kansas City won by 2 damn points. Exactly. I'm aware of this. I am totally aware of what has transpired. The Panthers are not terrible. I wanted to reiterate that, but the difference is you lack the killer instinct. Like, the Chiefs were never up 21-3 on the Panthers, is what I'm getting to. Like, they were nip and tuck with them the entire game. And the Chiefs, just so you know, they got Christian McCaffrey. You didn't. Okay, so a little bit different there. McCaffrey scored 2 touchdowns against them and was dominant in that game. And then he got hurt again at the end of that game. You didn't get McCaffrey. So the excuse isn't the same, but you were up 21-3. What I'm saying is you just needed to, I wanted you to crush the Larynx. They was on the ground laying like this. They were on the ground, and all you had to do was step on their neck. And you refused to. You had a heart. You refused to do it. Got another super chat. This one is from Keith Smith. Thank you for the super chat. Double up. Matter of fact, tripling up. We here with it now, Keith Smith. Really appreciate you. Keith Smith writes, go buy a pack of white tees. We ain't losing again. Oh, man, if only it were that simple. Only if it were that simple, man. Chauncey Davis, thank you for tripling up. You might be here, but I think we here. My man Chauncey writes, Lou, all caps. Lou, I know you don't believe in moral victories, but even after today, I believe in Ron's plan. I've been believing in Ron's plan. And even when we were 2-7 and a lot of you were ready to jump off the ship, I told you, look, if you're going to get out the car, get out of the car. I told you guys then, I'm not getting out of the car. I said, look, you know, there's mixed messages going on in these press conferences. We're 2-7. We don't know who the hell our quarterback is. We're losing close games, but these guys are fighting. I'm riding with Ron. I'm going to buckle my seatbelt. This may be a bumpy ride. He may even crash the car. But I'm going to put my seatbelt on, and I'm going to trust Ron. And I know a lot of you was like, well, I'm getting out. Well, get out then. But I believe then, and I believe even more now. So it didn't take today's, result or today's game. I know I love this team. I know that I see the culture changing before my eyes. Because in the past, with another quarterback starting and down 20-3, and we've been in this situation numerous times this year. At Detroit, you're down 24-3 on the road. Offense can't get it going, and it doesn't look like you got a hope in sight. And this team rallies back from 24-3, 21 points down to tie the game up at 24. The Lions retake the lead at 27-24, and we go down and we tie it up and got a chance to go to overtime and blow it at the end. But we've seen this team fight multiple times down big. So for me, I see a team that never quits. No matter what the score is. They're going to fight to the very end. That's a stark contrast to what we used to have here under Jay Gruden with Bruce Allen and company. It's a different culture. It's a different organization. It's a different team. And for that, you got to be excited. Got to. So I'm with you. I believe in Ron's plan, but I've always, all along, never wavered, believed in Ron's plan. All right. Let's see. All right, let's run through a few more comments. See, I think I left off there, so let's get to another one. Clover says, how did you like the burgundy on burgundy? I loved it. I loved it. We just don't win in them. I don't think we've won a game yet in the burgundy on burgundies, but they were clean. They were clean. Ron is definitely letting the players, express themselves on the field. That's for sure. Reese says, Bucks win, Falcons, Saints, and Panthers lose. Today was a good day. Okay, Recube. Clover says, how do you feel about the Eagles Week 17? Hashtag HTTWFT. I'm going to just tell you this right now. I don't want that game to matter because Jalen Hurts, we're going to talk about this on the podcast tomorrow. Jalen Hurts is better than a lot of people think. I watched that game today, and that young fella there, pretty damn impressive, if I may say so myself. Carson Wentz may not play another snap for the Philadelphia Eagles, man. That young fella there, whew, he had me over here nervous, sweating bullets over here. Nervous. I said, man, if they win this game, they might try to come back and take this damn division from my ass. So glad the Arizona Cardinals did us a huge solid because now we're in the driver's seat. We are literally in the driver's seat. All we got to do is not crash. So there is that. All right, so that's going to do it for me. Your man, Louie T. Hit that hour mark. And no more super chats. And I've knocked down most of the comments. So, Cody Larson, let me hit this last one. What can I say, Lou? We are in the spirit of giving. It is the holidays after all. That is true. That is, in fact, true. And, you know, why blow them out if you don't have to? It's the most wonderful time of the year. Why blow them out if you don't have to, right? They got family. They got kids. Right. So just get the dub. You don't have to embarrass anybody. That's what nice guys say. I wanted you to be brutal. And maybe that's not in your DNA, and that's okay. Anyway, that's going to do it for me, your man, Louie T. I thank you guys for joining me out there. If you haven't already done so, what are you waiting on? Hit that subscribe button and turn on your notification bell so you don't miss a thing. And hit that like button if you haven't already hit them. I got 300 of you out there, only 85 likes. Let's get that thing up to 100, at least to get it up to 3 bills. All right, to triple digits. Really appreciate you guys. Big win for the Browns tonight. They're one step closer to clinching their first playoff berth in damn near 2 decades, 17 years to be exact. So this is a team that is on a mission, and they're a good football team. You know, we saw it last week. Remember, I told you 2 weeks ago when they beat up on Tennessee, all right, they got my respect. They got my attention. Last week against the Ravens, they showed we're no longer the little, you know, the new kids on the block. We feel like we got territory in this division now, and we willing to fight for our space on the block, you know, with the bullies, Pittsburgh and Baltimore. Now, they weren't able to, you know, extinguish one of those bullies and beat them up and knock them out. But they got the bully's attention now. The bully just doesn't come up to him and says, give me your lunch money. Now he knows he's got to sneak attack him now. He's got a plan. Can't just come up on him and roll up on him like everything's sweet. He's got to actually figure out a way to attack. These are not your daddy's Browns. So this is a real good football team. They showed it again tonight, 20-6 over the Giants. Dominant performance. The score really doesn't do this game any justice. They were dominant. I will say the Giants had opportunities to make this a much closer game. They did some chicanery, but the Browns were the better team, and they proved it. 20-6, 10-4 on the season now are the Browns, and one step closer to making it to the postseason for the first time in 17 years. And for the Giants, 5-9. No Daniel Jones tonight. Colt McCoy. I thought Joe Judge had his worst game as a coach this season. Made some really ill-advised decisions tonight that I thought cost his team and really took the momentum away from what the Giants were trying to build in this football game as they dropped their second in a row after winning 4 in a row to get to 5-7 and really having a legitimate shot of winning the NFC East. They still do have a shot, but it's not as good as it was 2 weeks ago before the loss at Arizona and now, or the loss at home versus Arizona, and now this loss at home versus the Cleveland Browns. So we will see what happens with this Giants team moving forward. If Daniel Jones comes back and the defense continues to play well, they could go and get a win next week at Baltimore, but I wouldn't bet on that if I were a Giants fan. Got a super chat here for the road from A Little of Everything. Thank you for the super chat. A Little of Everything. You should get with G. Bush before the playoffs with a weekday super chat session. I don't know who or what that is, but I'm open for anything. I think I am. I'm not sure. So, sounds good to me. I don't even know what the hell that is. I shouldn't say it sounds good because I don't know what the hell it is. You know, I'm gonna pull and take my own advice from Chris Collinsworth earlier tonight and just tell you I don't know what that is. So, I'm gonna just pass. I don't really know what that is. Chris Collinsworth should have said the same thing tonight when he was asked about the NFC East and who would be the best team to represent the division. Instead of saying, "Oh, I don't know, Dallas won twice in a row. I don't know." Shut up. Anyway, I digress. I'm gonna get the hell out of here. Y'all have a good one. Y'all take care. Enjoy the rest of your night. Tomorrow, LouieTeeNetwork podcast for the one and only time this week. Remember, it's a holiday week, so I'm going to bless you on Monday. We're going to go over all the games, and then we're going to be done with the podcast for the week. So, with that said, you guys take care of yourselves. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great night.